There we go. All right, we got it recorded. So awesome, guys, and welcome to another Empress Club. And Janis, it is so good to have you here. Janis is an attorney and with Legal Shield, and we're going to talk about Legal Shield and about how to protect your assets and business today, right? So we'll talk about 20 minutes, and then we'll go and have some questions after that. Sound good? Okay.
Good. So is it okay if I share my screen, Anne-Marie?
Please share my screen. And before you do that, let me just share a little bit about why actually I'm doing this. And I want to tell you my story. And I think some of you have heard my story, but this was really funny. I heard about Legal Shield, and Janis and I got talking as friends, right? We live close by. We met an entrepreneur at an entrepreneurial event about a year and a half ago. And I signed up for Legal Shield. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then I let it expire, for me. And then in the fall of 2022, I was personally, I was sued. And that was related to Crypto Wise Women. And I will not mention anybody. It wasn't even not anybody in this group. I will tell you honestly, it was somebody completely outside of this group. But I was sued. And that is extremely stressful. If any of you guys have experienced it, oh my goodness, it really, really was super, super stressful. The good thing about it is that the night I went, before I was sued, before I got the letter in the mail, I had a dinner with a friend, and she just mentioned Legal Shield. We just got talking about it out of the blue. The next day I get that envelope and I'm like, holy cow. And then I'm like, immediately I went to Legal Shield. I contacted Janis. Janis, you were amazing, truly. The way you got me going and in touch with Legal Shield, with the law firm that's connected to it, that then got me to a law firm in New Jersey, where I ultimately needed to be. That process was so incredibly good, Janis. It was just amazing, amazing, amazing. And it made things so much better, so much easier. And in a very stressful time, right? I could just like, okay, this is being handled. I will tell you, I contacted the law firm with what's going on in the evening at 5 p.m. and the next morning early, they were already on it. So I have just been incredibly impressed by everything that's going on. So glad to have you, Janis, here and talking about this. And yeah, I was going to say, let's go for it and do your whatever your presentation is, and then let's have some questions. But I just wanted to start with that because.
And I'm about to say, Anne-Marie, you did my whole presentation. So what questions does anybody have? And really, it's all about the stories. They really show what Legal Shield is about and what it can do for you. So is everyone on this call a business owner or not? Yes. Okay, perfect. So let me share my screen. And this is really going to be conversational. Even though I have a slide presentation, you can just stop me as you need to. And again, it's really just a conversation. So with Legal Shield, we've been actually rebranded. We're now PPLSI. So if I go between the two, it's one and the same company. Oftentimes I pose the question, how do business owners make legal decisions? And this is an open book test. So by all means, you can just shout out whatever you see on the screen, or if you have another answer, by all means, just jump in. But how, as business owners, how are you all currently making your decisions today? And excuse me, I'm working from home and my husband's phone is like right next to me.
Google it. I don't know, anybody else? Any other ways you're making decisions?
So open book test. So we're not going to make it too complicated, but many times, we either may have a friend or a family member who's an attorney. Does anyone have that as a background for them? Someone has a family member or an attorney. Yeah. And full disclosure, as my tag shows, I'm an attorney as well. So that's a great resource to have. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. Or we may just go onto the internet and just Google, I have a contract that someone is saying is not valid. Is that true? And we go on Google and we've become Google attorneys. Or the other option that other folks use is just calling an attorney through the yellow pages, through the internet. And most attorneys are now charging between $300 and $400 an hour. Yes or yes? And I know because I'm an attorney, just a little bit about my background. I am an attorney by trade. I actually stopped practicing 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was billing at $225 an hour. So just for an hour of my time to have a conversation, you would be getting a bill in the mail for $225. And that was me as a junior attorney. 20 years later, now the average cost of an attorney is $300-400. And most individuals, most families, most small business owners just don't have that in their small business budget or family budget. That's how Legal Shield PPSI got started. We've been in business for 50 years. And as the slide shows, we are empowering and protecting approximately 4.5 million lives in the US and Canada and over 140,000 businesses. I know we mentioned, Anne-Marie, you mentioned someone is in Europe. Which country are you in, if you mind sharing?
Sarah, I don't know if you're on. Where's Sarah, guys?
Spain.
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 Spain, okay. So right now we're just in US and Canada. We were in England in Great Britain, but we removed ourselves from there. But that's not to say that we're not going to expand in the future. But currently we cover all 50 states in the United States and every province in Canada. Basically, what do? We are providing services in a way that's simpler, easier, and more affordable. Everyone has heard of Amazon and Alexa, yes or yes? And what did Amazon do? It made our shopping experience simpler, easier, and affordable. So we no longer have to leave our house to get kitty litter or to buy clothes. We just go in front of our computer, we tap the app, and we're shopping. Same thing with music. We used to have stores here in the States. Those are a thing of the past. I don't know if in Spain, if they still have like record shops or anything like that, but they no longer have that. Blockbuster that was popular here where you would go rent a video. Now you can just download everything on your computer or on your phone. So we're basically doing the same thing for the legal industry. So as opposed to having to actually physically leave your home to speak with an attorney, to mail documents, you can do everything from the comfort of your living room, your business office, strictly on your phone and through a phone app. Now, in terms of why would someone need a prepaid legal services membership or subscription? Uncertain times require new preparation. So as a business owner, we are always making decisions. Whether or not you realize it, every business decision you make is a potential legal situation. You might be hit with compliance issues. Do any of us sign contracts, draft contracts? Yes or yes? And again, a contract is a legal document. There's a saying, the bold print giveth, but the fine print taketh away. And for us that are signing contracts, who can honestly say, and you can raise your hand, that you've read every single line of a contract that you've signed? And again, yep, Carrie, was that a yes? You've read every line of a contract? And again, and that's the thing, this is just everyday life. And we're in a rush where we have things coming and going. We're signing a contract that we may not necessarily know that we've just signed away our firstborn because we're not taking the time to do our due diligence. But it hurts us when things go south. When things are great, it's great. But when things go south, what are we doing? We're running to look at that contract to see, what did I actually sign? What did I actually get myself into? And a lot of times you may have a client who owes you money. What do we do when we have a client that owes us money? We want that money because we may need those funds to keep our business up and running. But it's great that you actually now have someone that can be that legal muscle for you to get the money that you're owed, to get a contract reviewed. You may have contracts that were prepared before COVID. The laws have changed, circumstances have changed. Have we updated those contracts to make sure that they are current with the current laws and regulations in a post-COVID world? We all deal with different agencies, governmental agencies. Many times we'll get a notification in the mail or by email. Is this something that I need to act on, or is it just information only? Sometimes there's legalese that we don't even understand. What is this saying? And it's great to just be able to pick up your phone, tap your app, and actually be able to speak with an attorney to just get those questions answered. And again, these are just some of the things that as business owners, you may currently be dealing with. And it's just good to know that, hey, I don't have to deal with these situations on my own. I have an attorney that can actually help me through it. Now, as a business owner, these are just some questions that you should ask yourself. And I would like you to write down these 3 comments or statements if you have a pen handy. What if? Should I? Can I? And the last one, I'm not sure. So if you've ever had these type of questions tied to something related to your business or just everyday living, those are indicators that you need an attorney. And these are just some of the questions that, fleshed out. Have you ever wished that you could have legal consultation and advice for a business-related matter? Have you ever had a letter or phone call that you wish an attorney could have written on your behalf versus you writing it? And again, as a business owner, you have contracts that you're either signing or you're preparing yourself. Would it be great if an attorney could do that for you? And again, these are just some of the questions that, as a business owner, that you should be thinking about yourself. Because again, you know how to run your business successfully, but do you actually know how to legally be successful in your business? As Anne-Marie shared with her story, yes, she's been doing a great job in her business ventures, but that one lawsuit could have taken her out. And it's great to be able to have an attorney available to you within a minute, because all you need to do is tap your app or call the law firm, your 1-800 number to the law firm, and you're speaking with an attorney within that business day to get those questions answered. So with our plans, again, it's tailored to meet the needs of your business. As small business owners, you have the same issues and problems as a big business, but not necessarily those big business resources. Big businesses, they have attorneys on retainer. Some of them will have an in-house counsel, but as a small business owner, who is that attorney for us? Again, we may go to Google, we become Google attorneys, or we may ask a friend or family member who's an attorney for some guidance. But not all attorneys practice the same type of law. I give the example of a doctor, and Anne-Marie, you were in healthcare. If you have a skin issue, are you going to be going to a podiatrist? Not likely. And it's the same thing with attorneys. Attorneys specialize in different areas of law. When I was practicing, I did employment law. So anything that happened in the workplace, you got fired, you were being sexually harassed, you were being discriminated against, those were the type of issues that I dealt with. Oftentimes I would have a family member, because I'm that attorney in the family, that would come to me with the child custody issue or bankruptcy issue or a traffic accident issue. And even though I knew a little bit about other areas of law, that wasn't my area of expertise. And you definitely, when you're in business, you want to get the best advice that's going to help protect and grow your business. And that's what a Legal Shield membership will provide. We actually connect you with an attorney that specializes in that specific area of law that you may have a question on. Now, we have 3 different actually 4 different business plan levels. I'm not going to go into the details, but it's just suffice to know the more needs that you may have, the higher price plan, the 169, would cover those needs. And these are on a monthly basis. Again, as an attorney, they're charging $300-400 an hour. With our plans, these are plans that are on a monthly basis. It's month to month. So you're never actually locked in. And again, for those that even go with the essential plan at $49, less than $2 a day, and you're having your business needs protected. So those are our small business plans. And again, Anne-Marie took full advantage of that during the case that she was dealing with last year. But we also provide personal services. And I don't know how many of us have done our final love letter for our family members, but just for trying out the service, the law firm can actually prepare or update your will free of charge, just as a thank you for trying out the service. I'm not sure if everyone has updated their wills or not, but again, it's that last love letter. You don't want to, pass and it's your spouse or your children or siblings having to figure out, what are we going to do with the estate? We have to go to court. We have to go to probate. It's overwhelming. Here you actually have an attorney that can help you get those things in order so that there's no fights between family members as they try to settle a loved one's estate. Identity theft, we provide services. We all are familiar with identity theft. We're familiar with companies that provide protection. Legal Shield has those services available as well. And it's not just limited to financial. We may have protections through our banks, but a lot of times that's about less than a third of all identity theft actually deals with financial information. I actually had a girlfriend who was pulled over, said there was a warrant out for her arrest. Now, her name was Nicole Walker, as common a name as possible. How many Nicole Walkers out there? And every time, not that she got pulled over often, but anytime there was a situation, and she was pulled over. There's an arrest, a warrant out for her arrest. She had to keep showing that this is not, I am Nicole Walker, but I'm not the Nicole Walker that you're looking for. I've done some work with healthcare agencies. We had an individual that applied for a job to work with in the pediatrics department. His background came back that he had an assault charge in his criminal background. And he's like, I've never, assaulted anybody. But guess what happened? He applied for a job. He was qualified until the background. He was given a conditional offer until that background check came back. Once it came back, the company moved on to the next applicant. So he had to, one, he lost out on a job opportunity. And then two, he had to take time to get that cleared off of his record because that wasn't him. We had another situation in the healthcare agency where we had a patient who kept getting a bill from the healthcare company, and he ignored it because he didn't have services. Finally, the letter went to collections. He got a letter from collections saying that he owed over $10,000 for a surgery. He's like, I've never had a surgery. I'm healthy. Came to find out that someone stole his health insurance card and ended up getting a surgery using his information. So it's more than just financial. And with our services, we provide a full scope of protection regarding your personal, medical, social, driver's license. It's not just the financial piece that we provide services for. Other reasons why you would need an attorney: been treated unfairly, and I've done that myself. Let me speak to your supervisor. Rather than doing that, you're going to be hearing from my attorney. And I actually used that 2 years ago. Anne Marie, I'm not sure if I shared the story with you where we went skiing. It was about 4 families that went during the Christmas break. Our kids were on holiday, and we went skiing in Pennsylvania. Got there, we had lessons timed for 12:30. We got there at 10 a.m., checked in and everything. And then they're going to tell us, oh, you're not going to meet your 12:30 ski time. We can either give you a refund or we can drop you down to the 3 p.m. ski lesson. It's like, it's 10:30. Why aren't we going to make our 12:30 lesson? Well, according to, due to COVID, the governor's orders, we can only have so many people in the ski lodge at a time. So by the time you get your ski gear, it'll be past your 12:30 ski lesson time. So needless to say, we were not happy. Oh, and the other thing too is you have to wait outside. It was like 35 degrees. We stood outside in the cold for about 2 hours. It's about 15 of us, mind you, because we'd already driven to Pennsylvania. We're not going to turn around and drive back. So we stood outside in the cold, went through the line. My son is on the autism spectrum. So it's like with him, with special needs kids, you have to time things properly. So the day was a bust for him. By the time everyone got geared up, it was like 2:15. So they did their skiing at 3 o'clock. Now, mind you, I wasn't skiing. I was going to be the one taking pictures and holding the bags. So they had the ski lesson. My son lasted about 20 minutes and then he was done. So needless to say, I was not happy. The next day, called the law firm, asked them to do a letter to the ski resort to just let them know that I had a less than desirable experience. 2 weeks after that, the manager of the ski resort called to apologize for the experience and refunded me the cost of the entire trip. And that was close to $500 for my family. And it's just stories like that. Would I have hired an attorney to write a letter? No, but I'm paying $20 a month. I'm going to have my attorney handle a situation like that for me. So it's just those everyday life situations that we encounter that it's like, I'm not going to spend money. I'm just going to sweep it under the rug. I'm going to fuss to my spouse about a situation that I'm dealing with, but we don't have to do that anymore. We have an attorney that's actually going to be our legal muscle to help us with those everyday life situations. I like to have the motto, we often check our checkbooks, even though people don't use checkbooks anymore. Do you guys still write checks? Yeah, every now and again I write a check. My daughter's like, what's that? But my phrase is, we often check our checkbooks before we check our rights. And again, we're not going to spend the money to hire an attorney to fight for us. We're just going to ignore it. With Legal Shield, PPSI, we no longer have to do that. We have an attorney that we can press the intercom and be connected directly that day to an attorney to just get those questions, get the advice that we need. So just a quick overview on the personal plan, personal services that we provide families and individuals. Unlimited advice. I need advice on X, and you can give them a call. I'm thinking of getting a divorce. Can you direct me on what I need to do? Or I'm thinking of opening up a business. what things should I be considering? Do I want to form an LLC? Do I want to form an S Corp? And again, it's just being able to pick up the phone, tap your app, because we have our phone app where you're actually connected to the attorney immediately, and get that advice. They review contracts, documents. If you need them to write a letter or make a phone call on your behalf, all these things are covered with your membership. And again, it's a subscription-based model, as Anne-Marie mentioned. Month to month, you're not locked in, but I also have my motto. It's not a matter of if you need an attorney, but when, and life happens. And it's great to be able to just pick up the phone and speak with the attorney that day to get those questions or get the assistance that you need. And that's really the highlight of my presentation. Who's covered with the membership for our personal plans? It's not just you, it's you, your spouse or domestic partner, any child up until the age of 26 if they're in school full time. If they're a dependent, like you might be an aunt but have guardianship over your niece or nephew, they're also covered up until the age of 18. The part that I love the most is if you have a physically or mentally challenged child living at home, they're covered for life. So that's all but just the one membership that we offer for families. So that's it. Again, I hope I didn't talk too quickly. I hope the information made sense for you, and I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording soon. I just want to, I guess the biggest thing, Janis, and I love this presentation, what you said. And I think the biggest thing for me was when you said, it's not if you need an attorney, when you need an attorney, right? And I think I was kind of a little bit with my head in the sand, to be honest, like, I don't need that. I don't do anything wrong. I don't need that. And so when the lawsuit did come from me, it was like an eye opener, right? The lawsuit was ultimately dismissed before it even got to court, but I didn't need an attorney, right? Because I was not going to do this on my own, much too complicated for that. So again, I was just very grateful for the way it all went about and everything else. So
and thank you for being transparent about it. With our memberships, you're never locked into a contract, so it's month to month. So you use it for whatever need and you cancel it. I always tell my clients, don't cancel the membership, because stuff is going to happen and you want to be able to pick up the phone and speak with an attorney. For those of you that do business across the US or in Canada, we have a provider network of attorneys. So I'm here in Maryland. I may have an issue in California. Anne-Marie had the issue in New Jersey. If without the Legal Shield membership, who would Anne-Marie have called in New Jersey? What attorney? She wouldn't know which attorney to call. But with our services, you're actually connected with an attorney in another state or in another province to help you, for those that do business across state lines.
Yeah, and that was a question for a second, because it was either Maryland or New Jersey going to be, and so there was some going back and forth as well. And again, that was very seamless as well. It was a very seamless process to ultimately get them to the New Jersey. So yeah, you're right. And again, that can be all across the United States, because nowadays that's the way it goes, right? So.
And then the last thing, as Anne-Marie shared as well, when you have the membership, a lot of things, about 80% of the things that you need are covered with your membership. So you're not having to come out of pocket. What would be not covered at 100%, or what's considered a pre-existing condition. So because the situation happened after Anne-Marie canceled her membership, she wasn't able to get her services covered just with her monthly membership. She had to pay a little bit more, but it was still much less than trying to find an attorney and using the yellow pages and paying those $200 or $300 hourly rates.
Totally. But it would have been much better if I had kept that membership. I will tell you that. In terms of the cost, it would have been much better. But you're right. You guys were great. You helped me get going, and it was much less even then. But again, yeah, I'm going to keep my membership moving forward. No doubt about that one. Keep with that. Right. I'm going to stop the recording, and for anybody else, then we have any questions, guys, because I just want to see if anybody has any questions. If you're listening to this recording and you do have questions for Janis, then let me know. I'll absolutely put you in touch with her and we can go from there. Okay.
And I'm going to just